Hi, my name is Chris Erven, and I'm the CEO and one of the co-founders of KETS Quantum Security. Really briefly, at KETS, we're making these really tiny little integrated chips that allow you to secure your information now with a quantum promise. So it's a much better promise, and we're hoping to embed it into all sorts of our devices in the future. And today we're here to celebrate International Day of Women and Girls in Science. We're speaking to our quantum communications engineer, Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca. Thanks for joining us.
Hello.
And I think, the lockdown, if nothing else, has taught us just how much humans, I think, crave diversity in our lives and certainly in our teams. I can think of all my favorite team experiences have been when it's been very diverse, men, women, all sorts of backgrounds. And so we're very lucky to have had you on loan for a 6-month placement that's sadly coming to an end, but we've really enjoyed getting to know you. So why don't you introduce yourself? A bit of where you're from, what you're currently doing at KETS.
Okay, so hello, my name's Rebecca and I'm on a 6-month placement with KETS. I'm from Halifax, which is a place in the north, not the one in Canada. At KETS, I'm currently working on a few projects. I'm really enjoying my time here. Although, yeah, as you said, sadly it is coming to an end, but I've got a few things to finish off before I leave. So I've had the pleasure to actually go into the lab for the first time in a long time. And that's been really exciting. So some really good experiences from being with you guys. So.
Nice. And I think one of the projects you're working on, satellite quantum key distribution, which is a bit of a mouthful. Do you want to just briefly say a little bit about what that is?
Yeah, so it's using kind of technology that KETS are focusing on, so a QKD device, and it's using that but over a satellite. So it would send the signal to a satellite and then the satellite would send the signal back down again. And there's lots of different benefits to that. It's not a fully mature system yet, but it's something that a group of us are working on. So that's really exciting to be involved in something that's up and coming.
Yeah, getting sort of global quantum communication with these satellites whizzing around. When do you think maybe your interest in physics began?
So I've been interested in physics since I was very young. It all started with the classic, I think, of looking up into the sky, seeing the stars and wondering, what on earth are they? Like, they're just these bright, shiny things, but what actually are they? And I loved learning about the planets and what's in space, basically. I also really enjoyed doing puzzle books and I enjoyed problem solving and maths, which all kind of relates to physics because it's very logical thinking, and obviously a lot of physics is problem solving. So yeah.
I think we've all had that experience sort of as kids looking up, and it just sort of invites a whole host of questions of what might be up there.
Mm.
Did you like physics at school? Did you come to it later in life? People have all sorts of different paths into it.
So I think I was always okay at physics. So that was always a good thing to go into, and I enjoyed parts of it. I can't say I enjoyed all of it, but you can't choose what you do when you're at school. And I think, you know, doing it at university was a lot better because you had that flexibility of choosing the parts that you really loved. And there was a lot of parts that I really loved, especially the experiments that you did in school, because you got to see what was happening and then explain that phenomenon that you've just seen. And to me, that was really interesting and really exciting to learn about.
It's nice to know that it's sort of, as you get older, you get to have a little bit more choice. I can remember a mechanics of deformable solids course in university, and I still wake up with nightmares that I've just failed that exam. So I'm glad to be done with that part of physics and on to some other ones that I really enjoy. On that, what is some of your favorite areas of physics, do you think?
So it's hard to pick just one. However, I did have a module in university that I absolutely loved. It was called molecular biophysics. So it was a bit of an integration between all the sciences, so physics, chemistry, a bit of biology in there. And basically what you learnt in that was about non-Newtonian fluids. So things like syrup, corn flour, toothpaste, shampoo, stuff like that, and slime. And just learning how that actually works and why it has the consistency that it has, and why, you know, if you have corn flour mixed with water, if you punch it, it's a solid. But if you slowly put your finger in, then it's a liquid. And that was just crazy to learn the actual reasoning behind that. And I really enjoyed it. So
Nice. It's kind of funny that nature has already made good use of physics, and that's where that intersection is to sort of make us and lots of things in the natural world. Why do you think physics maybe is important coming at it from that angle?
So I think physics has a whole host of applications. I mean, it goes into everyday things, so from medicine, MRI machines, to security when you're going through an airport. You've got the metal detectors and you've got the scanners. All of that is based in physics, and we wouldn't have them if we didn't have the research behind it. So obviously it's important for that, but there's also so much out there that we don't know yet. Even in the quantum field, there is so much that we don't know. And I just think that's fascinating, that there could be so much more technology in 5, 10, 100 years than what we've got now, even though we seem like a very forward thinking society and we've got a lot of this new tech going on, but there's still so much potential, I think. And I think that's why it's important that people keep studying physics and keep trying to find new things in physics.
We sort of built on from the simplest of ideas, like a bit of physics to make the light bulb, to it's that famous quote about standing on the shoulders of giants, and now we're making sort of quantum space-based satellites and stuff like that. I mean, physics certainly underpins the slice I have in my golf game, but no matter how hard I study it, it doesn't seem to be fixing it, but at least I know why it happens. What about when you got into the lab as a kid? Did you, like in school, did you enjoy that part of sort of the seeing maybe a math formula and then seeing it proven out in some of your laboratory experiments?
Definitely, that was one of the best parts of it. I loved that, you know, you can see it and then you can learn about it. Like one of the biggest questions that kids ask is, why is the sky blue? And learning, and it's such a simple question, like of course you'd want to know why. But I learned the answer to that in university, and it was just, you know, you can see it, I can explain it. That's one of the best feelings, I think.
It seems so far out there when you're a kid that I can't possibly explain the world, and then you're only a couple of years away from actually understanding quite a bit about how the world works. It's closer than you think. What do you think the future maybe holds for you? Are you always going to be involved in some form of science, do you think?
I definitely think so, yeah. So I really enjoy it, so I'd like to make a career of it. And, you know, at KETS, they're looking at quantum communication. I've not done much quantum before, but I have learnt a bit of the theory in university, and I do find it so interesting because it is a field that hasn't been fully explored yet. So I might go down that career path of looking at quantum technologies. But at the minute, I'm just having fun trying to figure out what I want to do, and, you know, learning all these new things. It's really interesting. So
I find that a fun bit too. I mean, if you're in math, maybe you hear about all these theorems, and these people have been sort of dead for 250 years, but you can hear about some quantum information theorems and experiments, and these people, you can go and study under them still. They're all still alive, which is, I think, a lot of fun. We were going to close up with a few quick fire questions. Do you think you're in the mood for that?
okay, yeah, sure.
So you're just supposed to answer as quick as you can. Don't struggle over any answers. The first thing that comes to mind. So, favorite food?
Pizza.
Bristol or Halifax?
Bristol.
Does it make a difference if it's the Halifax in Canada?
Still Bristol.
Favorite musician or group?
Too many to pick from.
Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Favorite sports team?
Gonna have to say Aston Villa, but only for the boyfriends, because I'm not into much sports. So
what do you have on your, I call them French fries. What do you have on your chips?
ketchup, but with mayo as well.
Ooh,
So,
very controversial choice there.
yeah.
Favorite scientist?
I'm gonna have to say the classic. It's gonna have to be Isaac Newton.
Nice. Science or engineering?
science.
But I guess if you really had your choice, you'd combine the both if you could, couldn't you?
I think they are a combination of them both. You know, a lot of engineering has physics and a lot of physics has applications in engineering. So
Favorite person from history?
don't like history. Never been a history buff. Pass.
Working from home or working in a lab?
Both. I think it's really good for you to go out there and be able to communicate properly with someone, and you know, you can't do experiments from home, so I think that's why the lab's very good. But I think working from home really adds a bit of downtime to be able to read things without being distracted, so I think a combination.
And what makes you happy?
Food, definitely the way to my heart.
For a lot of us. I mean, I want to thank you very much for joining us for a quick chat. Maybe just to end, I mean, what would you say to any girls, any women that are thinking about, maybe I should give physics a go?
I'd say definitely go for it. Don't be discouraged by the fact that it's traditionally a subject that more boys go into, because I think that's rapidly changing, and I've rarely felt uncomfortable or anything like that. So I would say definitely go for it. There's lots of girls that are doing it now, and it's one of the best decisions I made. So
Give it a go. What's the worst that could happen, right?
exactly.
Thanks very much for joining us again.
Thank you very much.